So it's undeniable, Christine. Hotels are experiencing a dramatic decrease in website traffic and inbound inquiries, leads. That's why I'm wearing black today, by the way, in case you explain to that. But there's going to be some, that's not all doom and gloom, because you and I
Yes.
are going to talk about great solutions. Many still do not know what's going on. And I have Christine Malfair here from Malfair Marketing, here to dig into this situation further. And it's the topic of the silent hotel sales killer. Welcome again to the show, Christine.
Thank you, Cory. Thanks, InSync Show.
You bet. Love our conversation. So I'm going to get right at it. There's nobody that I see on LinkedIn or in hospitality that has got their finger on the pulse of Agentic Search like you.
Thanks.
Super passionate about it as we are. What is it exactly in the most simplistic, succinct terms as possible?
Yeah. Well, I think we could say it like once upon a time, we used to have search happening in Google search bars. Now search is happening in prompt boxes on ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, and so on. And it's where people are shifting their search behavior from Google to LLMs, which are ChatGPT and so on.
Got it. Now, why do we refer to this as the silent killer for hotel sales teams that aren't paying attention, by the way?
Well, the word silent is because it's something that's happening, but not a lot of people are taking action. And so conventionally, marketing and sales have had a fairly continuous run in terms of activities and tactics and strategies for a couple of decades now, since digital really kicked off there in mid 2000s. And so we're seeing now this shift to AI, and it's feeling silent because I think there just hasn't been enough conversation and people taking action on it. Would you agree?
I 100%, and especially on the group side, because like you had mentioned before, it's been a long, great run. Inbound inquiries come in, RFPs going out, business has been flowing pretty good. But just recently, several great conversations I had, the faucet has begun to really stop for the first time in a long time. And they're going, we're not exactly sure what's going on. Decrease in RFPs. And so, as you and I talked about many times before, which is unique to hospitality, unlike other industries like SaaS, where marketing is intertwined with sales. They help sales solve specific challenges, but it's been that those departments have been sitting at different locations at the hotel. They haven't been in a situation like, hey, we've got problems. We don't see the activity that we've had. What's going on? And so now I think a lot of them are going, we've got a problem. We don't know what really is going on. So why is this important for hoteliers to care about this right now? And what before this, and why should they know or understand or care before it really erodes their business model?
Well, I think we're really seeing the signals. We're like, my clients are starting to see a decline in organic traffic. So that would be the blue links that people search and find us through snippets online. But the good thing is that, we made some investments in content over time and reviews and so on, and all the things that we'll talk about later that feed into really give ChatGPT what it loves. And so I'm seeing organic traffic doing a bit of a dive. We are seeing some gains in revenue still. And I think it's because of those markers. And we're seeing month over month, like the numbers of ChatGPT referrals are doubling. So they're not massive numbers right now for my clients, but the fact that they're doubling month over month is certainly revealing. So to answer your question, it's happening so quickly. And once the adoption rate of ChatGPT and other LLMs increase, this is going to be how everybody is doing it, how everybody's searching. And especially with Google AI mode and overviews coming in now, like it might not be that they go off Google to ChatGPT, maybe they stay on Google, but Google's filling that need there too. And it's going to be ever important for businesses to adapt, to make changes. They're not massively huge ones if you've been doing your work along the way. But I think there's a lot of people that are going to be like, what is happening? Like you said, they're going to be like, why are we seeing leads down, traffic down? We're seeing other referral partners down. All of those things are going to happen.
Now, when you had mentioned earlier, you said revenue was up, and now I'm connecting the dots, and I have a feeling why you said revenue's up. Are you saying because also you're driving more direct business for your clients, and they don't because okay? I see. I got that. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. When we look at what the website is doing, we're just seeing a shift in where those referrals are coming from.
I see. You brought up a really interesting point also about Google versus ChatGPT. Now, I understand the AI overviews and whatnot, but it's still a very subpar experience compared to what I'm getting on chat.
Yeah.
Google's in a very weird dynamic, right? Because their model has been revenue, or I'm sorry,
ads.
But for the most
revenue.
Part. When you're not serving up promoted posts and ad links, it's going to be an interesting situation where people are going to be used to ChatGPT experience. We're expecting that. So how is Google going to match that when we've experienced both, and now it's like I'm used to ChatGPT. What does Google do then?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what's going on behind the magic doors of Google. I do know that that it is a bit of a race for users. And their AI mode and overviews is going to be how they keep people who don't want to go off and download an app or go off to a different platform. And I think that there's still, I think the latest number was, I can't even actually accurately quote it, but it was still very high of
absolutely
people using Google. But I think over time we're going to see changes. But AI mode and overviews is there to keep that volume high.
Yeah. And did you hear that chat's rolling out a browser here soon?
Oh, no.
That I just saw. So things are
even more important for this conversation.
Right. Yeah. I'll touch a little bit on the group side. Why owners, management companies, the property need to take notice today is that these aren't changes that you flip a switch and suddenly it's like in the OTA pipeline. These things take a while to do. And while the barrier is very low, barrier of entry is low, your competitors haven't figured this out. It's a lot easier to make big gains now on some of the things that you and I are going to talk about. But more importantly, I think right now, this is a great way to build more direct business. And I know it's a little bit different a term on the group side because traditionally it's been, again, dependency on intermediaries of third parties, just like on the leisure side. But the low-hanging fruits there right now, it's not that difficult to shift this model. So that's why right now is a great time to really take what Christine and I are talking about seriously, because it's a lot easier to win today than it is going to be or even at the end of the year, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. And like you've mentioned, the barrier to entry is low. This is more of time investments than it is dollars.
Exactly.
These activities that you can do in your marketing and sales process they require mostly time and strategy, not a lot of dollars. So
I agree. And with the tools out there, you and I talk about Opus Clip all the time, Descript, ChatGPT. It's never been easier to create really cool content. You don't need a sophisticated filming crew. Now, with that in mind, I think if ownership or hospitality in general has that same trend or mindset that Red Bull created 10 years ago, and to think of your hotel as a media company first.
Mm-hmm.
You do that first, I think you'll get in the mindset of you show the stories, the trust signals that you and I are going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The business comes when you yourself are a media company, and that's mind blowing for most hotels because they're nowhere near that, right? They're not. That's not really how, and even some are lackluster on their social media. It's no longer been social. It's get the word out media now.
Yes, yeah.
So
It's
we've got
promo
some
media.
unwinding to do, right?
Yeah.
So not only have I seen a little bit of backtracking on the right when social came out, it was I think a little bit more on point, and they were doing the things that it meant, and I unfortunately attribution and things I think we've made a few steps backward, but
Yeah.
so with that in mind is the most important part. So we're going to talk about what can hotels do to future proof themselves and get them set up for agentic search and these AI driven agents that are coming, right?
Right. And if I may just add a point where we talked about this before our call about the different phases of what's happening.
Mm.
And we're in one phase right now that hoteliers it's a great time to do everything we're going to discuss and review here. And like as we said, it doesn't cost a lot of dollars. But I think one thing that people are asking or maybe hearing about is, well, I've heard that I don't have to invest in my website, that talking to agents is going to bypass my website, which ties into what you just said, Cory, about how every brand is going to essentially need to think of itself as a media company, as you said. And what's going to happen is that content has to come from somewhere.
Exactly.
And we need to be telling the stories, answering the questions, because agents are going to be looking for that, whether they're talking to each other, which is, we're not quite there yet. It's all currently being built as we speak right now. But we're going to still need the hotel website to fuel the content, to fuel the answers, to give some context to what people are actually looking for and help the agents do their job. So when we think about a website, it may not be the whole booking. Like right now, everything you do in marketing points to a website that goes to a booking engine.
Absolutely.
For the most part. I know that there's brand apps and all kinds of different things.
Well,
but
and at some
for
point
the most part,
you want to experience where you're going, right? You're not going so
yeah.
there has to be the website's going to be more important. I know a lot of people out there are saying websites are no longer going to be important, but I'll put in a terminology most hoteliers or owners or asset managers I think can relate.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to build your online visibility on rented real estate.
Yeah.
Right? It
Right.
has to live somewhere. You have to store your things on your own property.
Mm-hmm.
The website is more important, in my own opinion, than ever. It should once you get them to that point, you should be able to just absolutely connect with them on an emotional level so they've got nowhere else to go except right through your front doors of your lobby.
That's right. And if you think of your website as this repository of rich information about everything in the destination, that's what my aim is with the clients I work with. It's like we want to be the local authority, whether we're hosting the whatever event that's going on in town, we still need that there because it's part of the experience in the destination. So websites are going to be this sort of repository of goodness that tells everything about the hotel experience, the destination, we're all going to be like, ideally, websites, that's their new function.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, we're not there yet, so I don't want to overwhelm anybody.
Yeah. In fact, we are going to start with some basic stuff, right? You and I are going to make some recommendations, and I think Overwhelm is easy these days. It's the shiny objects and the tools, and we get off the basic of fundamentals. Here are and we're going to talk about what are some of the things, Christine, hotels can future-proof themselves to get themselves ready for this agentic search and an AI-driven environment.
One thing that I'm sharing is, if you've done keyword research, or even if you haven't, but you've done keyword research and you know, for example, San Diego hotels, and you know that that is a hot search term for your property to show. It's where you've made investments maybe on a traditional Google search platform. Now you want to pull that apart and be like, San Diego hotels, how many questions are there about San Diego hotels? Then take that and say, well, which ones actually apply to my property? So it might be San Diego hotels near such and such, San Diego hotels that are pet friendly with complimentary breakfast. There's so many search terms, because when we think about how people aren't just typing, nobody goes into ChatGPT and types San Diego hotels.
Right.
Right? They're typing in questions. So your website, your content needs to answer that question.
And by the way, I know where you can get those questions, by the way, that people are asking, right?
Answer the public. Is that what you're going to say?
No, you can ask ChatGPT.
Oh, you can ask ChatGPT too.
What prompts? Oh, man.
Yeah. And it'll put it into a lovely spreadsheet for you. You can ask that too.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's incredible. Every circumstance. So that was fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, so that's one, and then what do you do with that, right?
Wait,
so
just ask a little bit more. Is that strategy, if you rank pretty highly on, you said hotels in San Diego, right? Like you kind of rank, what you're saying is really own it by doubling down on just a rich. It's almost like you're not reclaiming, but you're continuing to stay at the top of the search, because you're just going to go 5,000 feet deep on that one search term.
Yes, and it's kind of like you have to zoom out a little bit and say, like, what questions are my guests asking, and not just at the front desk, but what are they asking when they sit down to start their travel plans?
Yep.
So understand what their intent is. Why are they coming to your area? And it doesn't take pages and pages of content to answer these questions. It takes some good structuring of your website and how that information goes in there. But yeah, so what do you do with the keywords? FAQs. You take testimonials that match those. So like if you're looking at San Diego hotels that are pet friendly with, an outdoor pool, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Most San Diego hotels have an outdoor pool, I'm
sure. I
was
just at one yesterday at Le Berge in Del Mar. So, yeah, absolutely. That is one.
But then you want to take that, review and put that on your pet friendly page, because
totally
that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're thinking about how am I answering questions and how am I matching, understanding, you have to understand intent, then the questions, and then where am I answering those questions? And if you follow that is the basics, I would say. There's some deeper levels you can go, but those would be probably understand what your guests thinking about, what questions are they asking, and where are you going to answer that on your site? And then just get it in there, right? Get it in there. Pepper FAQs throughout your pages. This is good for group sales, right?
Totally.
Yeah. It used to be that FAQs all lived on one huge page.
Right.
Right. And it's not necessarily all that intuitive, because guests aren't all thinking their questions in one moment.
Totally.
Questions are coming up throughout this journey. And so changing that up and chopping that up and putting those on your website, I think, is where the value is.
So is that your first, like, where you would start if
I
you?
would say keywords. Yeah,
Okay.
like go to ChatGPT, understand what questions are people asking,
Okay. Great.
and then get those questions into your site.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What would be maybe a second or even a third tip if you want to share with us on the
Mm,
leisure side?
yeah. I love so when we talk about EEAT, and
Uh-huh.
I don't want to if we are covering that, but I love thinking about your positioning your website as a concierge.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a concierge at your hotel, even if you do, there needs to be a concierge that lives in your website,
For
and
sure.
that's in your content. So if there's local events or activities or guides, itineraries, things that you can do, here's what it would look like for a family with young kids.
Like a
You know,
snapshot, sort of?
yeah, like you could
Wow.
just put it together an itinerary.
Uh-huh.
See, because that's what ChatGPT does.
Yes. You're right. Good
ChatGPT
point.
loves putting together itineraries for planning. It will give you restaurants, activities, flights, right? How to get there.
Totally.
So if you're developing an itinerary, it's like, oh, this is easy. This is already
Wow.
done. So a day might be, here's the top 3 places we recommend for breakfast. ChatGPT loves bullet points, skimmable, quick search, like listicles, stories, those kinds of things. Really, I would keywords then or questions, and then your build a concierge in your website.
Beautiful. Now, on the group side, you had mentioned obviously EEAT, so I'm going to mention a little bit about that. But our advice for any independent hotel that has seen this happen is start with the low hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, most of the independent properties that we engage with or we have conversations with already have a boatload of traffic coming to the website,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have a whole lot of inquiries coming through their website. So I'm going to give it, this is a twofer because it signs off on the low hanging fruit being non-professional planners
Mm-hmm.
and your existing clients that have already had an event there at the property. Those are rarely nurtured at a property level and for a variety of different reasons. But there's an easy way to connect with those. And we suggest starting with what we're calling the high fives. So, and ironically, they lead right into agentic search. This is a beautiful segue, is FAQs. It just mentioned on the group page, segmented on meetings, and even on the social events, very specific to groups. Um, Even starting with the basics of what is attrition. A lot of people that go to the website, these are administrative assistants, executive assistants. They're intimidated. You go there, they're talking about all these terms about clauses and RFPs, and they don't even know what an RFP is. So FAQs that handhold them through that process, 4 or 5 levels, everything from basic questions to ask to contract terms, all that stuff. Number 2, team page. My gosh, team page. Our planners are saying it. They are even asking, why aren't your team members? I want to know who I'm working with. Why aren't your team on your page? Everyone from the sales to convention services, food and beverage, could be AV, whoever a planner is going to engage with. Those friendly faces, little bios, little personal tidbits, and then we're suggesting video. Nothing sells your property like a short video. They can see a warm smile. It's almost like they know you from watching the video because I get that a little bit of myself,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You get that putting yourself out there, and when you get a call or a DM that says, "Cory, I watch your video. I feel like I already know you." That is sales gold.
So true.
Oh my gosh. And literally, 90% of hotels don't have their sales team on their group page. That's number two. Number three, you touched on testimonials, video testimonials. We just did a series of 4 for one of our new properties. That is another huge sales tool. Nothing sells your property or the group at your property better than somebody else has had a successful event there. You can
Mhm.
see the excitement in their eyes. They're,
Yeah.
it's almost like they should hire them to do the sales. It's crazy to see them talk about the properties this way. Gold. Yet no, many hotels are just not doing this. Pricing. For crying out loud, guys, come on. Everybody can come up with a snapshot of 3, could be intimate groups, medium-sized groups, large enterprise level groups. Put a little short description of what that was, price from, ballpark, whatever it is. That's going to reduce the barrier, get more people early on in your pipeline. And then this is the big one, short forms. Most hotels make it so hard for an administrative assistant just to simply reach out and ask a question. Do you have any availability in the middle of August before I go through this incredibly painful process? Don Barnett, we put London House, we got a short form on his. He immediately got 50% more inbound inquiries
It's all right. Good.
without doing anything else.
Wow, that's awesome.
So be able to get more people in the pipeline earlier on so you can nurture them. And ironically, Christine, you talked about EAT.
Mhm.
All of those perfectly align with what chat AI agents are saying. EAT, experience, expertise, authoritative, trustworthiness. All 5 of our high fives meet that same criteria. So that's why I mentioned it's a twofer, because it's a great way to get direct business quicker while you're setting yourself up for agentic.
Yes. Yeah. No,
So
that's great. I
yeah.
love that acronym.
Oh, hey, I picked that up from Marcus Sheraton and Endless Customers. I don't know if you had a chance to read that book, but
I have it.
brand new
It's on the
capital.
list. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So kudos to the team over there. Impact, love their shtick. Um, this has been a great conversation. I say
I
this every time I talk to you. I could go for an
thank
hour,
you.
but people start rolling their eyes at us. Um, is there anything you want to leave us with? You already dropped some really great bombs there. So
Yeah, I just think that um, there's there, there's a there's a lot more that could be said, right? But I just my heart for independent hotels, for those marketing managers out there who are feeling like I'm just hanging on to everything that I'm trying to get done right now, everything that's on my list. How am I ever going to do this? That it doesn't require a huge amount of time. And if you're looking for the best place to start with the work you've already done and improve that.
mm,
Instead of thinking about an overwhelming approach, I have to build all this new stuff. So I just would like to relieve a bit of the pressure valve before we sign off.
and by the way, I want to make it clear too. You're actually it clarified something with me. You actually are there also to assist and help overwhelmed marketing managers on property through the strategy, because I think you and I both feel now there's so many competent marketers out there that are incredibly amazing, talented, creativity, but I think they're so busy just executing, they don't have the time to sit down and really think through the roadmap. And I think that that's really where your value comes in. You've done that, and you've been in the trenches, so
Mhm.
you're there to help anyone that's feeling overwhelmed or not even sure where to start. Right. So in
Yeah.
fact, why don't you tell us where people can find you?
Yeah. Well, LinkedIn's a great place. And I'm actually, every Wednesday, I host something called the Revenue Strategy Room. And there's one in August that's coming up. And that one is going to be how to get your website AI ready. And it's going to be the
Mm,
second time I've done it because there's a lot of people raising hands that want the information and how they can get rolling on it. So thanks for asking.
you bet. Wonderful. Well, hey, it's been a great convo as usual. That's been second. Third one is going to be another barn burner, nonetheless. And I can't imagine what we're going to talk about the next time we chat.
I
It's going to
know
be
it's going to be
crazy, right?
yes, yeah. It's so great to talk to you and have conversations like this because I want more people to be having these conversations, figuring out, okay, what are we doing now? How are we keeping our businesses thriving and successful and off the OTAs? Like
Hey, I
not
love that.
entirely, but
Hey,
this can go two ways here. So
in life, and especially in hospitality, dependency is never a good thing.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Well said.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for the great combo and have a great weekend, by the way.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Take care, Christine. Thanks.